some new way to poison us, but liquefying bodies and potentially putting them back into the drinking supply is a whole new level of ick. It's called alkaline hydrolysis, and it is water cremation, being coined as the new, cleaner, greener, and eco-friendly way to dispose of your loved ones. But here's what really happens. A body is placed inside of a steel vat with chemicals, typically potassium hydroxide, where it is heated under a high temperature, which liquefies the body. All that's left is the bones, which are then ground up and give back to the family as ashes. The rest is flushed down the drain. That liquefied human goes through the wastewater treatment and gets recycled back into the municipal water supply. The same water supply that comes out of your tap if you're on city water. Now they advertise this as biologically sterile, but here's what can survive. Prions, they're tiny misfolded proteins typically found in the brain. Mad cow disease, heat-resistant pathogens like hepatitis A, pharmaceutical residues like chemotherapy, antidepressants and hormones, heavy metals like those nice mercury fillings, lead and arsenic, synthetic materials from implants, medical devices. Standard treatment doesn't eliminate those things. We are not just talking about contamination here. As if it's not gross enough, people flush their pharmaceuticals, their aborted babies, and everybody's shit goes down it. Now we're adding liquefied human remains. Let's call it what it is. Ritualistic, state-approved cannibalism. Most of you don't even know you're consuming trace amounts of the dead. This is not just disrespectful. It's a spiritual, ethical, and biological violation, all in the name of sustainability. And newsflash, it's legal in 28 states.
You know, people always ask me when they come to my house, which isn't, it's very rare that anyone ever comes to my house. They'll look at my water thing and they'll say, why, what's with the full retard water get up here? And my answer to it, which is the same answer to almost every question I'm ever asked about anything I do full retard, I always say, well, if you knew what I knew, you would do what I do. And one of those things is that video right there. That's nothing we don't know. You know what? And the average normie will tell you, well, it gets filtrated. Like, there's almost like a spiritual aspect to it, you know, like filtered or not filtered. Just once you know what the hell goes in there, it is a work of scientific marvel that the sewage system can go to a water treatment. Oh, good morning, by the way. Can go to a water treatment plant and, you know, become drinkable again. That is a true miracle. However, I myself choose to, you know, more or less opt out. And how far off the opting out I get, I don't know. I'm no scientist. Just a blue-collar, busking piano player in Canadistan, you know, trying not to drink poison as much as I can. Because I drink coffee, black coffee. But, you know, they also say there's a lot of mold in black coffee, too. Could be true. Now, my full retard water system is not that crazy. It's just this. So that's from Jackson Spring, which is it's about 2 hours away from Winnipeg. It's a spring that this company like just fills up and then sells it. So they're almost like water mercenaries. I pay them to go get it. Now I used to go get it from a spring just by Victoria Beach called Beconia. It was just this tap, this well that 24/7 just, you know, had spring water. But in the winter, just got a little, you know, don't want to drive that to you know, fill up in there. You know, people don't understand. In Canadistan, it's minus 30 in the winter. You know, if I were to slip while I was, you know, filling up the water, crack my head and be knocked out for 3 minutes, you know, I'd be dead. So then I pour that spring water into that Santivia thing, and it has, if you can see, like right, I don't have anywhere to, where'd my pointer go? Anyway, right in the middle of that thing, there's this like all these rocks and who knows what it is. And on the top there, that's the extra filter, you know, for whatever Jackson Spring may or may not put in or take out. and then it goes through that little thing and it remineralizes it. Gives you all those essential minerals that most water is lacking. Now, fun fact, that little water bottle there, that Voss, people always say, oh, it must be nice to drink the Voss water. Like, what a thing to say anyway, right? As if I go around and buying $7 bottles of water. I don't. I bought one and I just fill up. Actually, I bought 3. So I have a rotating thing for the bubbles I populate. One is the GEMINI, one is the Gym, and the other one is just kind of, I don't know what it is, but I populate them and this is a kind of indicative of we will get to some TA, not to worry. We got to talk about nothing when the price action is doing nothing. But I took it to the gym once when Duke had his junior squash, and I finished the water that I brought here, and he went and filled it up with the water from the gym or whatever. And when I took off the cap, I immediately could smell chlorine. Plus I got the carnivore nose, right? So I have a heightened sense of smell. So it's been a while since I actually smelled the chlorine from the water system, but it was just amazingly overwhelming. And then of course, I pull it up and I put it, when I got home, I put it in the kitchen and I forgot about it. And then when I came back to it to fill it up, I emptied it out, of course. And then I do the, the sniff test. You do almost anything, right? And I'm and it stunk. So whatever water was in there, ended up stinking up the glass bottle to the point where I had to get rid of it. I know I could have cleaned it, right? But I'm cleaning it with the stinky liquefied dead body water. So there's no end to the full retard you get when it comes to water. It's sometimes you're better off not knowing anything. It'd be nice to just open up that tap water, smell that chlorine, make it feel like it's nothing but precious clean water, which it is. I mean, you're not going to die from it. And then you go deeper into the lie wormhole. If you follow all the lies, you can't cherry pick ones that kind of fill your narrative. For instance, you need 8 liters of water a day. We've heard this. Is it 8 liters? It's 8 something. It's a lot. We're taught that all our life. You need this. There's always people saying, have you drank enough water? Do you need some water? And, you don't need that much water. You need some water, but it's not like when we were cavemen, they were sitting there, searching for 8 liters of water every day to survive. I sometimes wonder, how did they not poison themselves with water? Because they're peeing and, dumping the bodies in the water. And then, it's, anyway, interesting way to start a Wednesday morning stream when there's nothing to talk about in the markets, because nothing's happened, obviously. We are just ranging. Alexandra G, I only drink when I'm thirsty. Yeah, I usually, I consider coffee, so pianomattyb, you fill up your coffee with the water from the tap. No, I don't. Well, don't you think that's going over? No, there's no part of my liquid diet that I think, okay, I'll drink the liquefied dead body chlorine water in this. No. I opt out of it all. So yeah, we are just ranging into oblivia, console ranging. It's mind-numbingly boring. And what's almost weird too is that these little pumps here, these little upsy downsies, they're enough to get the blood pumping slightly. I'll look at my phone and be like, we're going up again. But we just hit the ceiling. This is a lower high too from here. Not good. It means we're reinforcing the market that we're not going to get higher. Jimmy Coco, price got exciting for a few minutes last night. Yeah, that's what I mean. For a few minutes a day, price gets exciting a little bit. But if I'm going to optimistically, Professor X, drink water until your pee's clear. It's simple. It's simple. If you want to know a natural method to drink water till your pee's clear. I was told that a healthy pee is more like kind of a subtle lemon water. You know, if your pee is clear, you might be drinking too much water there, Professor X. But again, just a blue collar busking piano player in Canadistan, right? On my little Canadian tax farm here. So here we go. Upsy downsy, doing nothing. We are consolidating right now at the 38.2% fib. I gotta move this again. I don't know what I'm talking about here. There we go. Yeah. So it's noisy. It's getting noisy on this 4-hour chart. You can barely hear it. So noisy. It's so noisy there's nothing even to talk about. On the daily chart. Now, this is what I don't want to see. This would be bad. If we were to put in a bearish engulfing candle, which would mean closing today at or below 117.4. Now, we did that a few days ago. Was that Sunday and Monday? Yeah, we closed underneath this, but this is a new day where we're trying to understand new metrics. We don't want today to close underneath 117 at or below 117.4 because that would, it would tell the market of bots that we have turned around, that the sellers are now stronger than the buyers. It's the humble opinion of this piano that there really isn't a lot of sellers or buyers outside of institutional buying. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if you guys know a lot of your friends, your heartwarmingly innocent, naive normies saying, you know what? I'm going to pull the trigger at 120. I'm going to do it. I know I was ho-humming in the 30s, in the 40s, in the 50s too. You know what? Even when it was the 70s last year and it was consolidating, I was ho-humming. I was hoping it would go down lower. In fact, I was totally wrong, and it actually went up to 100. And even at 100, I was, I was ho-humming. I wasn't sold. Wasn't sold on this new technology. I just don't believe it. I'm good with my fiat currency. And then when it went to 120, when it hit the top, so to speak, like the all-time high, that's when I knew I'm pulling the trigger on this. Now, my argument to that would be if your heartwarmingly naive, innocent, bird brain normie friends were to pull the trigger at 120, may not be the best thing in the short term, but what is, right? In the long term, 4 years from now, they would look back at their 120 purchase and probably hail you, the financial god that you are, and thank you for the rest of their lives. Now, in the next 16 months, they might not do that, but eventually they will. Now, will they have enough chutzpah? Is that it? Chutzpah or futzpah? Chutzpah? Chutzpah? They have enough chutzpah to maintain that 4-year cycle? Probably not. But what are you going to do? Can't save them all. We tried. We did our best, right? On the weekly chart, what is 117.3? 117.3 is, okay, yeah. Closing at 117, let's say we closed at 117.3 on the daily, which brought in that bearish engulfing candle. We would now be really kind of putting in a shooting star candle on this weekly chart. Now the weekly chart moves slow, so there's no real reason to panic. I would probably, not want to talk about this week's candle closing at or below 116.3, arguably closing out from this little bull flag. Now, it wouldn't surprise me to get a bounce from it, go down there. So let's take a look at some of these potential bounces from a bearish point of view. Look at that. It's the 23.6% fib, this closing candle. This, if we were to get a bearish engulfing candle, what I would like to do is probably send a wick down, a little experimental wick, just to tap the 23.6% fit, but not candle close. It'll look like we're candle closing, but then we'll get some pushback for the day's end, and we'll close it with a little wick, right? A little sacrificial wick down to the 23.6. That would be a good bounce. 17.3 now. Crypto to me. Let me say this. Hey, Matty, much love, bro. Question: what do you recommend visiting in Toronto? My father-in-law wants to cross the border from Buffalo, New York. Ooh. You've caught me at a bad time, Crypto to me, because my love for Canadistan has been dropping day by day, and everything bad about Winnipeg right now is even worse in Toronto. You might not even recognize where you are in Toronto if you cross that border. Now, if you're okay with that, which, I'm just saying you might be a little bit off put. Where are things to go in Toronto? Jeez, I don't know. It's been, the funny thing about Toronto is that it was two things at once at different times. What does that even mean? Two things at once at different times. It was at one time the hottest place in the world I've ever been, and I've been on a cruise ship around all the hot spots in the world. But Toronto was the hottest I've ever experienced because it has this excruciatingly humid heat. It's like a wet blanket. And so hopefully it's not like that. But right now it's like, this is when it was last time, because we did this festival called North by Northeast. It's kind of like Canada's version of South by Southwest, the same, but weaker and of less importance. And when we got there, see, Toronto isn't equipped with AC like Winnipeg. I know it sounds weird, but a lot of these venues, they didn't really have AC. You might, because a lot of them are kind of like, fronts, the front open doors. So like, yeah, maybe they have it now. This was a long time ago, but where we were playing, it was upstairs. And we get there, and every step you took with your Fender DeVille 410 amp, that's like, I don't know, 110 pounds. Well, we're carrying our own shit, right? But we're just like indie artists looking to get a record deal. We're walking up these stairs, and every stair, it increases by 6 degrees till we get up there. I'm looking at the bartender. He's just drenched. I'm like, is there no AC up here? He's like, no, there's no AC in the whole building. Great. And so we play the show, and we're just like, I had jeans because, at this point in my life, I was not a shorts wearer. I didn't like shorts. I didn't like to wear shorts. I felt like it wasn't my character. Now, of course, I no longer care about anything, especially how I look on a day-to-day basis. So I either wear my black velvet pants that are, the bottoms are all scraggled. I gotta put them in the garbage because they've served me well. They've served me since 2020. This one pair, they're these one pair of black velvet pants have been two things separately and different at both times. One, they've been pajamas. God love them. Two, they've been my daily wear. So sometimes they're pajamas and the day wear. I'm not going to sit here and lie. Anyway, so now I wear the same pair of shorts all summer long. Do they get washed every now and then? Yeah. How often? I don't know. What was I going with this? Yeah, so I was playing the show with jeans. And so after the show's done, 30-minute set, drenched. The jeans are wet. So this is the other thing about Toronto, which you won't experience now, Crypto to me. I don't think I've seen Crypto to me on this stream before. Comment. Well, welcome if it's your long-time listener, first-time commenter. It's also the coldest place on earth I've ever been. And I live in Winnipeg, which says it all, because a lot of times Winnipeg is the coldest place on earth recorded sometimes. And because the same way Toronto has its amazing heat and humidity that ups the temperature, it also has the same blowing wind off whatever Lake Ontario, whatever it is. And so I remember being there for another festival. Can't remember what it was called. I think it was when I saw Martin Sexton live in a venue for the first time. It was apparently his first venue he ever played. He only did folk fests and big outdoor things. And so, Crypto to me, I want to come by your bar. Remember I asked? I'm just not recognizing the name, I guess. Maybe there's some people have different names on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Anyway, it was so cold that I had to strategically walk down the street and go into stores. And I was bundled up. I'm from Winnipeg. I know it's cold. I'm no stranger to a toque and a face mask. I had it all. And I would still have to walk like 3 stores and then dart in. And then people would say, ding, ding, hello, welcome. And they're like, oh, gotcha. So I did that. Anyway, where the hell am I going? Oh yeah, we were talking about these places to bounce. So the 17.4, which is also the 23.6% fib on the daily. Now, if we were to break that, our next level to bounce back would be down here at this where these wicks are, 115.8 and 116.2. Now, the good news about all these price probabilities that I've been talking about on the bearish side is that they haven't really come through. Not yet. Not saying they will, but a lot of times, especially in the bear market, I remember doing the videos and I would sit there with these probabilities, like saying, this, it might not, and it would go on forever. And then eventually it would kind of hit and reset. The good news so far is that we haven't really had too much bearish activity. Not at the same time, not a lot of bullish activity. Not a lot of bullish activity, pianomattyb. We're at 120K. What are you talking about? Not enough. Bullish activity is 200K min. Wake me up at 200K. Got me excited there, 200K. Just thinking about it. Would life change at 200K? No. Would people be more excited about it? Yeah, but here's the thing. I also no longer care if the normies get excited or don't. It's like, it's one of those secrets that we are all lucky enough to know and share amongst ourselves, that the vast majority of people have no clue. And it's funny to think, because I would hazard to guess that most people on this stream are full retard into Bitcoin, so to speak. It might be a topic of conversation once to 10 times a day amongst you and your close friends. And you venture outside of your bubble and there's absolutely no talk of it. There's the odd spurs. For me, I have a nice little petri dish of demographic overlook, which is a squash club, because it has a lot of different aged men. And some of them have been talking about the price, but not enough for them to, actually humor themselves into getting exposure to it. Because I believe we're at that point now where the price, the law of large numbers, has psychologically diminished their enjoyment of it. So now they become bears. Now they become hoping the price goes down so they can be I told you so's, right? Because all bears like to be I told you so's. I told you this was a scam. I told you this was a Ponzi scheme. I told you it would go down. And now if you're a perma bear and you're always saying it's going to go down, eventually you're probably going to be right, because this is a cycle and this is the economy and finance, and things don't go up forever and they come down, higher highs, higher lows. But so my barometer of Bitcoin excitement is the squash club because there's a lot of financial minds there. Now I'm using the term loosely because they're financial advisors. And I have made the thumbnail. Financial advisors are all crooks. Prove me wrong. The kind of Crowder one. Just haven't found the right day to do it. Now, I was going to do it today because it was kind of a nothing day. You know, you wake up to the price at the same time. But luckily, I saw that little video on Twitter about the tap water. I know it's not the best way to open up. Some people were probably drinking water when they're watching that. Anyway, these financial minds, none of them are asking me anything about it. None of them are talking about it. None of them, and in fact, I would say they're kind of avoiding me because I'm going to talk about it. How can I not? So I would say that the major barometer of bullishness would be when I get tapped on the shoulder by these guys. Now, for an instance, I think the way it may work ego-wise is they may be, pot committed to not ever knowing. Do you know what I mean? Like they've gone this far without suggesting it to their clients. We're just going to down this hill. We said it was risky, and we're just going to keep saying it's risky, and we're not going to get any exposure until you blow up my phone because you're so angry that the opportunity costs of it being too risky probably lost you the most unbelievable upside to your financial future that you ever will miss. Make no mistake. They'll miss it. Now, of course, it's not too late. This is number grow up technology. It seems to have perfected the zero gravity effect of hedging the negative aspect of humans, right? Everything bad that humans do, Bitcoin seems to absorb it and then make it positive, kind of like the water treatment plant. You see how everything turns around. Everything is related to everything.
Make sure you like and subscribe.